Normie Gardner here, and I'm here to announce a new video series that I'm going to be doing. It's called Atheist Fairy Tales. Now, the first thing you might think when you hear that word is that I'm trying to diss atheists, and I'm trying to answer them back, because if anyone has any experience with online atheists know, they are very fond of telling religious people, you believe in a fairy tale. You believe in a fairy tale. Now, that's just an insult that they make, and it doesn't even make any sense, because, first of all, fairy tales are things that no one believes in, okay? There are very entertaining children's stories, but even children actually don't believe in fairy tales. They don't believe that, Jack and the Beanstalk actually happened. So, religious beliefs are not fairy tales. Even if they're false, they're not fairy tales. They're just false. So, saying you believe in fairy tales is just a nasty diss. It doesn't mean anything. Anyone who does it is you're just being a jerk, So, but that's not how I'm using it. I'm actually going to use it correctly, because this is what a fairy tale is, okay? A fairy tale is a genre of literature that's very powerful, and it's very beloved, and it's an imaginative tale of things that might be. We might not see that, but you got to think back to the times when fairy tales were invented. So, there's lots of fairy tales about dragons, giant, fire-breathing lizards in the sky, all right? Now, today, we know for many reasons that dragons of that sort aren't real. They don't breathe. There's no giant, fire-breathing lizard in the sky. We've never seen one. We've explored the whole world, and furthermore, there's physical reasons why they can exist, like weight and cold-blooded reptiles, etc., But back 100 years ago, more than that actually, back 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, they didn't have the same access to information we had. So they, would hear from some traveler like Marco Polo or some historian like Herodotus that there are dragons down south. Now, they'd never seen them themselves, but there was no reason not to believe that it wasn't true or could possibly be true. And so they would make an exciting, interesting story about the dragon. And it would thrill the children, and it would kind of thrill the adults too. And it was kind of cool and interesting. Now we see, how can anyone believe a fairy tale about a dragon? But back then, there was no reason not to believe it, because they didn't have access to the same information that we do. All right? Now, keep that in mind. Not enough access to information. Today, we have science fiction tales about hypnosis, about mind control, about a robot that is self-conscious and has free will, about travel between, over light years through hyperspace. Now, why do we even think these are possible? For example, let me take hypnosis, all right? Hypnosis, or mind control, let's give an example in The Incredibles 2, a recent kids movie. The villain can control people by putting like this pair of goggles on their head, and it's like static, and there's patterns, and something triggers in the person's brain, and then they're controlled by the villain, right? If you've ever seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, the idea behind that is that your free will is some part of your brain, and that by changing someone's brain, you can take away their free will. Now, if you told that to Aristotle or Aquinas or any educated person, 2,000 years ago, they would laugh at you. They'd be like, "What? Your free will isn't in your brain? What are you talking about? Your free will is part of your immaterial soul. It's not a material thing at all. It doesn't exist in your brain. Heck, there are angels who don't even have bodies, and they have free will." But today, we say, "Oh, that could possibly happen. That's interesting. That's exciting," and we give it more credence than it really deserves. The reason is that our worldview is that everything is material, including your free will and your soul. It's all in your head. It's all literally in your head. And if it's in your head, then we can manipulate it, and that some evil scientist can manipulate your head so that you don't have free will anymore. Nonsense. It's nonsense. It's a fairy tale. So they believed in fairy tales, and we can laugh at them. We believe in fairy tales too. Or, we at least think things can be true that can't possibly be true. So this video series is going to go through a series of atheist fairy tales. And they are literally fairy tales. They're exciting, imaginative stories, but if you look at it closely, they don't really make any sense. I'm sorry to say. So I'm going to look through each one of them. I'm going to go through why they don't make any sense. I'm going to base this basically on observations that we can make about everyday life. And hopefully I'll have some fun with it. So, hope you stay along for the ride. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.